of HP overall, and as a result, well, Nightmare wins game number 2. Tiff, what a great showing there.
What a great show indeed. Fire Breathers really bringing the fire to these lobbies, but I've got to hand it to you because it's match number 3 time. Fallout, Vicky Kitty, bring all the action. Send it.
Thank you so much, Tiff. Vicky, see what she did there? Fire Beavers bringing the fire. Love it. Girl, Tiff.
And literally bringing the fire with the motor flames there too. I love it. I honestly really love seeing these different comps coming out. I also just, in general, Fuse and Mad Maggie as individual legends have one of the funniest voice lines that I get to enjoy when I play Apex Legends too. But something to note, Nightmare has bullied Corpa in the lava siphon station that we've been seeing beforehand. They've been getting extremely aggressive there. I'm wondering if Corpa is going to maybe change things up, and they are actually.
They did.
Remember, we saw that Geyser was uncontested by any squad. Corpa was like, all right, we're just going to cut our losses. We're going to give Lava Siphon a Nightmare because they're obviously on another level today, and we're just going to have to take the L and take the lackluster loot in Geyser because it doesn't really have a lot of great loot.
Yeah, putting their ego aside. Obviously not a ton of great loot, but you do have a replicator, so you can craft up. Wise decision for Corpa. I mean, they need to scrap together some points here if they want to stay relevant, not only just in this competition today for Pro League, but in the grand scheme of the standings. Again, we keep highlighting them in the bottom 10 right now, facing relegation. So wise decision from them. But Vicky, I got to point out as things slow down here, you can't say that they give you your favorite voice lines, Maggie and Fuse, without saying the voice lines. I'm not going to let you get away with that.
All right, but it's literally the cuzzy that always gets me. It's always the cuzzy. I just absolutely love it. Like, it's just honestly, whenever the Mad Maggie's around, I said it before, but I always feel like I'm getting bullied. But then when you see these Mad Maggies come out and try to grief you with that tactical when you feel like you're safe, it's not just the Seers that end up griefing you, preventing you from healing, but then it's got to be the Mad Maggies too. Are you kidding me? I can only imagine what these teams are feeling in a lobby like this when they feel like they have to go for a desperation reset. Nightmare Esports out here aren't running the Mad Maggie, but obviously they are one of the teams running one of those mainstay legend comps of the Fuse, rather not the Fuse, the Seer and the Valkyrie. So that Seer obviously being a thorn in your side sometimes when it comes to trying to reset and you try to heal up and it gets canceled by that tactical.
Yeah, you're right. Vicky, you nailed it. You know, two kind of mainstay or default comps, if you will, are Seer, Horizon, Valkyrie, and Seer, Valkyrie, Watson. And that's what we see as kind of the most picked overall team comps. And we'll keep you guys up to speed and abreast of which legends are on display today. And guess what? We have 7 Watsons on the lobby, 9 Seers. So, you know, again, Seer meta was really popular, but Horizon with 12 picks and Valkyrie with 19 and 95% pick rate overall. As we take a look at Navi running that Mad Maggie as well. A lot of teams, and really the CIS is kind of paving the way with that Mad Maggie. It started with Aurora, and now other teams following suit.
I love how you highlight the different picks that we also have in this lobby. I do believe we have one Gibby, so squad making some change up, but I don't know how that's going to fare against a lobby that has a lot of Mad Maggies to play with. I do think that's actually Scars that's trying to change things up a lot. And with Scars and their lackluster performance so far, this is the last map that we have, or rather the last game that we have on World's Edge before we make that swap over to Storm Point. So it's absolutely desperate for some of these squads to try to at least get as many points as they can in a map like World's Edge where they feel way more comfortable.
That's right. Taking a look now at LFO, Lackey and Light. What they can do is they have Foot nearby, Foot over back actually south towards Dome here, going to make their rotation through. And Tiff highlighted them really, really well. Foot, a team that is all landing. They all flew to Turkey. They've been playing together in person for about 2 weeks now. So this is where you should be reaping those rewards. And right now in 10th place with 9 points, a decent start, but not necessarily the performance that they expected themselves. They hold a high standard. Why? Because they're former champions. They've won ALGS online tournaments. They've won, I believe it was Fall Circuit that they won way back when with the original squad with Pia on that team. They made a big decision to drop Pia for Kuya and haven't necessarily found the results just yet. We'll see if they can now. They've been kind of a mid-tier team, but with land practice, maybe they'll change. Corpa now needs to perform today, and Zerfer, that last Arc Star is going to dodge it. Is he going to survive?
Corpa can't seem to catch a break even when they're exiting out of Geyser, but this is to be expected because they're rotating through that tunnel where the vault is. You can expect squads leaving Fragment East or even exiting out of Overlook to try to contest a team like Corpa. It's actually Aurora that's on the other side of those vault doors. You see the Zero unleashed by that squad Corpa that's inside, and Aurora are going to try to close in the gap. They have the Mad Maggie Wrecking Ball, so that way they can actually get that speed boost and try to see if they can get a nice off angle. But Corpa looking like they're just backing away. They're going to respect Aurora in this case.
That's right. Aurora's on the hunt. Little do they know that Corpa snuck their way out through the other exit and is already gone. So Aurora now basically hunting nothing. We got a couple other teams nearby. It looks like they actually have a vault key, so that's why they made their way back here. They were content with Aurora dips that. They're just clearing their back, and golden helmet is going to help them significantly. And they're going to be quite kitted now. Aurora with a really good overall loadout and inventory to really perform this game and break into the top 3.
Also, a really good equipment to pick up, especially with this team comp, is that gold helmet. Wondering if they gave that to Maliwan instead, but also, even if it works out for Cleve in this case, that Wrecking Ball is always so useful. Obviously, they could make that swap, give it to Ranches. If Ranches uses up that portal, that gold helmet allows them to get that ult and their tacticals online a lot quicker. They see another squad in the middle of their rotation off of that high ground, though, exiting out of the Lava Siphon Geyser area. Wondering what squad that is that Aurora is now going to face off against, while Corpra made their escape to Overlook.
Yeah, that's right. I was running the same thing. It's not as clear as like a Bangle or a Bloodhound you're going to instant give that gold helmet to. Between Caustic and Maggie, I think are my picks. I think Caustic probably gets it. Or additional barrels, or Maggie if you're playing edge and playing aggressive. Don't tell me it's in Maggie's hands. Foot made their rotation all the way from Geyser. They dropped Lava City. Rotated through Geyser all the way through the choke, and they're going to keep working their way through. They say, hey, that's Aurora. We don't want any of that noise. We know they're going to fly at us. And that's the reality. When you play these often in the team comps, you can get called out pretty easily. And these players obviously all know each other really, really well from these scrim lobbies. They know who's who, and they're able to call that out and avoid that fight against Aurora. Good decision from Foot.
Yeah, I like the fact that they're going to Skyward Dive here too, because trying to take a fight on the outskirts of Fragment East can spell doom into just invite third parties to try to contest you in this rotation, as we know that this circle is going to be pulling towards the epicenter side. Foot doesn't want to waste any time. They're going to be able to Skyward Dive right on the high ground right here and maybe see which of the squads are exiting out of Climatizer that they can get involved with.
Love this overhead map. That's showing us all teams, so many edge teams here in Emea. You don't really see as many edge teams anymore in North America. Everyone's kind of predicting a northern pull. I think they're predicting right. An epicenter, potential Climatizer finish, given where these teams are. We'll see where that zone goes here in just a moment. But a lot of teams rotating already on the north side of the map. We still have Alliance all the way in staging, taking their time.
Love BZN's rotation as well. As you can see, they wrapped around the Overlook area towards Climatizer, so they're going to have a nice northern side of survey. Aurora now in a fight themselves, trying to contest a squad that's actually exiting out of Geyser. Wonder which of these teams are actually going to try to rotate through this low ground, because this is going to be very risky. You cannot take a fight with Aurora if they have this space right here, specifically because the Caustic in this composition is going to allow them to get the space that they want with those Caustic barrels, set up shop literally inside of this tunnel, and deny that space for any of the squads that want to rotate through this tunnel. So they're going to be at a very big disadvantage if they actually decide to fully send it into trying to get in here. Aurora, though, not expecting another squad to be right on their backs. They lose Cleve immediately, getting melted down. They set up the Nox grenade, but the Black Hole and the Thermites are doing so much damage to Aurora. I'm not too sure they can come back from this. Maliwan disengaging from the Phoenix kit, just unleashing the Caustic barrel so that way he could get some space, some makeshift cover from this Caustic barrel to pull out the Phoenix kit.
Yeah, and actually going to drop his Noxious Gas as well, so no one's going to push through that. They'll be able to heal back up. Blast goes down. He's going to get rezzed, though, so this is the time for Aurora to push. They have a knock that just got rezzed and has no HP. Look at Ranches with the wide left flank. He's going to pull the wide angle. Going to connect for 40 damage. It's not enough.
Oh man, Aurora having to play this out as a duo, going back and forth, trying to split their attention to the squad right behind them, leaving Geyser, the squad that's right in front of them, that started by Esports, Bambino falling incredibly low. One of our other squads that are rocking the fuse right now. Looks like a lot of these other Emea's teams are starting to take note of these different composition swaps, incorporating the fuse instead. But Startify playing on the outskirts of this next circle, they really want to secure a lot of this KP because they absolutely need it, like we highlighted in the early pre-show. Startify really want to be able to get all those points in the overall leaderboards.
Here's what's so interesting about that. Starfight just want to go back in. They know they have a 3v2. They want the rest of these kills. So we'll see if they end up pushing. Nightmare's actually flanking them from behind. But here's what's interesting is the rat got ratted on. It was actually Aurora that was ratting and hiding within that tunnel, caught Nightmare Esports off guard, didn't get the kills, but then Starfight did the same thing to them. It was ratception here in Emea, and Starfight's going to get that loot reset, and Aurora will live to fight another day, but you wonder for how long.
Let's not forget, this all started with Corpa that also was getting bullied inside of this tunnel, that they sneak their way over to the side off that side entrance. Nightmare now, who managed to go in for the flank, exit out of Geyser through that choke point, have now wrapped around on the other side of this vault. They get the knock, and Startify are also in some trouble in the feed. So Nightmare Esports looking like there may be a third party soon if they don't finish this fight quickly.
We have Corpa. Zerifer enters the mix. Corpa start a fight. Nightmare, Reply Totem, and Aurora all within this area. Again, very similarly to what we see in these edge teams. Only one or two will survive, maybe three, as Lemek's going to get another knock on Doctors. And just like that, Start a Fight is trying to start a fight against Aurora and ends up getting taken out in the fight early. They are eliminated from this lobby in 19th place. That is brutal for that team as we keep an eye out on Nightmare, who's performed back-to-back games. Can they make it a third?
Oh, the timing on putting out that Watson ult, but they're forced to give up not only the safety of the Watson ult, as Corpa has now made their appearance on the high ground. They're rotating away from Overlook. You can see some shots landing with that wingman. Some of those stray shots getting caught with that. Gets the knock here onto 7. Nightmare in a lot of trouble playing this out as a duo. They needed to back out a lot earlier. Like you mentioned before, Paulo, there was 3 other squads in the vicinity, and now Corpa are going to be able to walk away with some KP.
That's right. It's big for Corpa. Said this is the game they need to steal away some points to stay relevant. Not only in this 6-game series, but in the entirety of Pro League. That's a good start. 2 kill points for them. They're going to continue to play Edge here. They don't have that Maggie. They don't have that Caustic. They don't have that hard Edge team. Obviously, with the Seer in their hand, they're going to be well poised to still fight, to get intel, but you wonder if they'll be able to survive with the likes of all these other teams nearby. Nightmare Esports. Aurora's all the way in Geyser right now, by the way. We have a quick mini-map on our side. So they're looting up solo. They got the banner, and they were able to, I think, potentially should be able to res up. They're in Geyser deep in the zone right now. It's going to be a tough rotation for Aurora. Corpus still find themselves fighting here in Fragment against Nightmare, and Alliance is going to enter the fight.
I hope Aurora's got all the meds in the world to work with. Alliance also coming in from the other side of Fragment East. You can see Corporate taking shots, or rather getting taken some shots by the squad that's on the high ground. They make this rotation because they really wanted to try to finish off the remainder of Nightmare Esports, who are not having the greatest of time. You can see in your kill feed effect getting that second member, Limek, out from Nightmare. That just leaves a rat for Nightmare to work with. Their desperation is ensuring as Nightmare want to continuously actually stay consistent after getting top 2 game 1, winning game number 2. Corpora, though, are looking a lot better after changing up their own drop spot. They wanted the revenge on Nightmare. They didn't fully get it. They funneled them into the line of sight of Alliance, but this is still a really good start for a Corpa to start getting some momentum.
That's right. We got an Alliance versus Corpa standoff in Fragment East with a couple teams in zone creeping up on them. I'd love to jump into a listen-in with Corpa to hear how they're going to play this.
If it's a duo, I think we can push.
Looks to me like a duo. Can we Horizon Q on the roof, maybe?
Yeah.
Like from here?
100%.
Wait, you wanna kill this?
Yeah, like there's no one on height. Q here if you can. He's looking. Shoot the guy on the stairs. Okay, he's leaving. We can go above them. Here, in
Should
open.
be duo if they're leaving.
No, it's I think it's full team, no?
It's full, yes.
Dogs here. 45.
Money, let's here.
I'm still ulting above.
Okay.
I'm trying to Q him. Zero ulted. I'm trying to Q him.
Okay, I'm on a med kit.
Yeah, just try up this guy.
Minus 16 Valkyrie. Fighting. I am knocked from other team.
I can Q in 5 seconds. Can you
Okay,
get
come
out?
to me.
Knocked. Maybe.
Here. Okay, thrown in the back.
Ryzen's pushing.
Look,
What's climbing on me?
you guys can win this.
3 on me, 3 on me.
27.
Literally 3 on me.
47.
Yeah.
All three here.
Behind me.
I'm gonna back
give me
up.
up.
You.
We're gonna be
Yeah.
good to rest soon. We're getting shot up.
Have to go in zone soon.
I got thirsty.
Down the box, down the stairs. 41. He's going to the box. He's behind box.
Yeah,
trying
here
to-
is behind the box.
Bam, this one. I have to jump.
34.
Okay. That's all you. I'm gonna
Okay,
play
drop,
live. I'm gonna
drop.
play live. Oh, then I'm dead now. Fuck. It's them again, isn't it? I can.
Fortunate exit for Corpa. We thought maybe they'd be able to inch it out, but Alliance picks up the kill points instead. Kudos to them, but guess what? Game Ward's going to enter the fight here. They want a third party. They heard the fight going down. Meanwhile, let's jump into a fight with Game of Drones.
There's so many fights happening on the edge of the circle right here, too. Game of Drones now coming out on top. Aurora get eliminated. Echo Esports gonna meet them right back in the lobby. They lose out on Torre here, though, as Game of Drones are gonna try to climb up on the rocks. They're gonna be taking a huge chunk of the damage. And look who's circle keeping them. It's gotta be V2 on the outskirts of Epicenter. A great position for them to be sitting in with so much of the action happening by Fragment.
Yeah, he nailed it. So many fights on the edge. This is the northern edge. We were watching the southern edge action where Alliance actually just got taken out by Game Ward. We'll preview that fight. We're jumping over here. Back to the north. It's V2 with a few other teams in the vicinity. Game of Drones and Fire Beavers nearby. Again, similar scenario. Likely only one team will make this. V2, the French. What can you do? Joke's going to be tagged up and be able to heal back up with a shield bat. Here comes the push.
We saw Alliance get taken out in the kill feed earlier on. It was a Reply Totem who was griefing our squads over there, Corpa and Alliance, when they were in that fight. Now Game Ward are going to back up as well. V2 still in some trouble. They send up the Seer ult right now, the Exhibition, allowing them to get the information that they need for that player that's hiding behind that rock to their left.
That's right, and the Fire Beavers are right around them in the zone where they tried rotating through. Meanwhile, Navi going to be taken out. Switching on over to VZN, who had that pop-off game in game number 1. 19 kills, tying a record in Pro League. It's going to be Zane and Nax, the British duo, last 2 alive. Here comes the push. Going to miss those first shots. That might cost him, but going to get some good damage in after. Is this a 1v1? Yes, it is. IG is out. Zane handles his business.
VZN looking to stay on top after cleaning up that squad. IG International meeting themselves back in the lobby, and more are following. Nightmare finally get eliminated, and when we just have the solo of Denze to play things off, that's Horizon getting even more KP to work with. Game of Drones that we just saw earlier in that fight to the south of them, currently in Epicenter, are also taken out. Fire Beavers now making their appearance before the reset happens.
Yeah, and I love what Fire Beavers is doing here. They were in that fight earlier against V2 and other squads, Game of Drones. Instead, they hear this fight going on, and they actually rotate their way over to this one instead. They find the opportunity to take out Zane. Zane is out, all up to VJ and Nags. Can you be heroic, much like we saw Zane do moments ago? Not looking like it. Nags down to 75 HP, gonna heal back up, and needs to just try and rat his way to a top finish here.
Maybe he could just go for a reset here too with the medkit. He's just dropping down from the high ground. He's gonna cut his losses, gonna see if he could just go for a reset elsewhere. He avoids narrowly by the scrape of his head.
I think that gave him a haircut.
The sear tack, yeah. They
If a
had
sear
to just
tack and give a
scrap it up
haircut, it
just a
just
little
did.
bit.
Yeah. Right. Guess what? V2's gonna find him. V2, who was just in that fight earlier, decides to enter the fight. They follow in Fire Beaver's footsteps, and I believe took out Fire Beavers. I don't see them in the lobby anymore. So nice shot by V2. They're the last of the party, and guess what? They're the last one remaining. We told you only one team would survive. Well, guess what? It is V2, who are all quite literally huddled behind a rock moments ago. Now they have complete control of this northeast side of the zone.
Like, they faded him, and they gave him a fade at the same time here, too. V2 are now going to be able to just loot up nicely. They're going to be able to approach from this side of the circle, which is a great location for them to be in because they have a lot of that natural cover of the rocks as well as the high ground for any squads that are playing on the railroad tracks right underneath them to their left.
And I love what I'm seeing here. So 6 squads remain, E6 eliminated, but it's Reply Totem, Horizon, Game Ward, LFO, and Foot Esports, and V2. These are all teams that were in the bottom of the scoreboard and that needed to perform here in Game 3. What does that mean, Vicky? Well, guess what? The standings are going to be shaken up. It's going to be a really even distribution of overall points, which are the lobbies we love to have. It's going to be a storybook finish here in Emea. Let's see how it finishes on World's Edge.
It just puts so much on the line for a lot of these squads that need to perform today with the limited days that we have left for the Pro League in this first play. You see Joke taking a lot of damage, Mimu being the last one alive for Horizon. We saw some kill feed points just lighting up for this squad. They have 2 KP to their name, and Mimu is having to play off the low ground.
Yeah, Horizon's not a team that's known to get a lot of kill points. They're known to be more of a placement-focused team, but don't really get the kill points that they need to succeed. You got to find that balance if you want to be a top 3 team in your respective region, and Horizon hasn't found that balance yet. We'll see if they can turn things around on Storm Point, but they're still alive for now. 6 squads, Foot Esports, really well poised, but they have a pretty max rotation here, so they're going to have to deal with, I believe it's V2 to their right. They said, we're fine. Let's just actually take this wide left rotation. They know they have all of this dead side of the zone, but guess what? V2 is still pushing. They are unstoppable right now, Vicky.
It's Joke that's going to be able to get that knock here too. Foot playing off the low ground. They should not have given up that extra cover because we know that there are some squads here left between, I believe, 6 squads. We got Horizon, LFO Forever, we got Foot, we got Game Lord, V2, and Reply Totem, and Foot having to play this out as a duo. Let's see if they can try to get the res here.
That's right. And once again, Joke says, Fallout, stop talking about Psychop and Le Site de France. I'm showing that I am the superior French IGL as Joke playing with Zidane and Nubicide, 2 rookies to the ALGS, outperforming his former teammate in Game Ward, but both teams are alive. It'll be a battle of France here in this late game. We'll see who ends up making it to first place.
V2 are in such a good spot, though, on the high ground right here. They have to make sure that their backs are cleared up. That's going to be the one thing that they need to focus on with the circle closing in on their backs. Look at Game Ward now actually climbing up on those rocks. Reply Totem playing this as a duo. Now it's only up to Amaz. He's got the Gold Evo shield. He's got the shield cells, but he needs to give up this ground. He has no cover, and he gets deleted in each angle between Foot and Game Ward.
Yeah, Maze, the Italian, out. It's going to be Foot Esports coming from Scandinavia. Game Ward still alive. The French, and we know. We also have V2 with a high kill game also alive. Their last team, well, it's Foot, not for long. Taylor down and actually knocked. Noth, the last alive, the old man for this team. Can he do it? He's going to take out Zidane. Nubicide is knocked. So it's a 1v1. Joke versus Noth. Can Noth do it? No, he gets shut down, and Foot Esports out in 4th.
V2 are popping off. Joke himself alone is 6 KP to his name and the kill leader, and he can get the reset. Absolutely beautiful play here for V2, specifically for Joke walking away as the kill leader with that.
Agreed, and guess what? While that's all happening, Game Ward and LFO are fighting each other, so that's going to give them a chance for a full reset, Vicky. We have 3 squads remaining here in this last game on World's Edge. Game Ward is fully kitted out in Evo Shields. It's going to be a storyline finish. I can't wait to see who ends up on top.
Oh, and Aimbot's got that RE. Not too sure if he just used up all the ammo, actually. He saw that there were some swap-ups on the ground right below them. They also swapped up the golden helmet real quick. It's all about that priority and getting that information. Rocking full red Evos, obviously, in the late game to match that with their other squad, V2, behind the rocks. They're out of a lot of the fighting here, though, and the only thing separating Game Ward and LFO forever is that big rock, as LFO is forced to drop down first. They're going to be sandwiched between these 2 squads.
Yeah, that's not the ideal scenario in a game of Apex. In the sandwich, you never want to be the meat. You always want to be the bread. Where's my man Hodsick? As we're watching Game Ward right now. Joke on high ground. Good, V2, sorry. Joke on high ground right now, getting some good shots in initially against VFO. Our last and only Bloodhound in this lobby is still alive. You like to see some of the old school comps still surviving, as Bloodhound has been making an impact here for Game Ward. They're getting all the intel in this late game.
Look, as a Bloodhound main, I'm always happy to see that. Always happy to see a lot of that results coming in between the Bangalore and Bloodhound duo. And now as the Rolling Thunder comes in, you can see Game Ward are making their move onto V2.
That's right, wide right flank. They're actually going to ignore LFO in the middle, and that might cost him. Aimbot's going to get absolutely melted, but Psycop takes out his former teammate in Joke. 2v2 fight for the win. We talked about the Battle of France, and guess what? Game Ward is on top still, quite literally. High ground right now for YOLO. Needs the shield swap, needs it quick. He's going to get it, but they're in a 2v3. Wicked gets knocked. Are you kidding me? Game Ward!
Oh, LFO forever has the RE45, but it's not going to be enough. Game Ward move in, and they take game number 3, our final game on World's Edge.
Are you kidding me? Game Ward, Aimbot, I believe it was Psycop as a duo. The last 2 players just clutched back-to-back 2v3 fights to win the game.